Welcome to the Madison Miller podcast. Today is Wednesday, December 31st, 2025, the final podcast of the year. College football, college basketball, NBA, NHL, soccer on this day. Some predictions for 2026, news and notes, and best bet. We'll start with college football. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to today. So yesterday we had 3 games. TCU over number 16 USC 30-27 in overtime in the Alamo Bowl. The Independence Bowl, Louisiana Tech over Coastal Carolina 23-14. In the Music City Bowl, Illinois over Tennessee 30-28. All right. As this time of recording, this game just got underway. The Relia Quest Bowl between number 23 Iowa, number 14 Vandy from Tampa Bay Buck Stadium. My line's Vandy by 6. It'll 52 and 7/10. And the betting line closed Vandy by 4, total 45.5. Over. I mean, I know it's Iowa and they load the totals because of the reputation, but Diego Pavia, come on, over is the pick. I know Iowa got out to a fast start, but that's the pick that I have. 2 o'clock on CBS, the Sun Bowl, Arizona State and Duke. That is from El Paso, the Sun Bowl. My line's Duke by 7, total 55 and a fifth. And it is 3.5 and 48.5. Another over. 3 o'clock on ABC, the Citrus Bowl. Number 18 Michigan, number 13 Texas. That's actually a pretty good game. Mine's Texas by 3, total 47 and 17/20. It's 5.5 and 48.5. I like Michigan getting the points. That's a lot of points. 3:30 ESPN, Nebraska, number 15 Utah in the Vegas Bowl from Allegiant Stadium. My line's Utah 8.5, total 56 and a 20th, and it is 14.5 and 51.5. I think that's a lot of points. Give me Nebraska to cover. All right, big one tonight. College football playoff quarterfinal, Cotton Bowl from Jerry World. Number 10 Miami, number 2 Ohio State. My line's Buckeyes by 3, total 44 and 3/20, and it is 9.5 and 40.5. I think that is too high. Give me the Canes to cover 9.5. They will not win. They will cover. I think Canes plus the points in the over is a good little parlay. All right, on to tomorrow. New Year's Day, we have 3 big ones, all in the college football playoff. And it's funny because New Year's Day we used to have like the Citrus Bowl or whatever, but they moved it to New Year's Eve. So 3 playoff games tomorrow, 12 o'clock ESPN, the Orange Bowl. Matinee game in the Orange Bowl. Usually the Orange Bowl is a primetime game, and the Cotton Bowl is the game during the day. So Oregon, Texas Tech from Hard Rock. My lines will pick them in 54 and 9/20. And it is 2.5 in favor of Oregon, total 51.5. I like the over. But I think the gunpoint, I think Oregon does win. They have the best player on the field in Dante Moore. All right, here we go. The Rose Bowl. Number 9 Alabama. Number 1 Indiana. On ESPN from the Rose Bowl. My line. Indiana by 9, total 51. It's 7.5 and 47.5. I love the over in that game. Mendoza and Simpson, I think there's going to be a lot of points. And then the All-State Sugar Bowl at 8 o'clock on ESPN. Number 6 Ole Miss. Number 3 Georgia. From Caesars Superdome, my line is Georgia 1.5, total 52 and 3/10, and it is 6.5 and 55.5. I'm going to take Ole Miss to cover. I think conference opponent. So I think that Ole Miss covers the game, but I think that Georgia will win. All right, now on the college basketball. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to the games today and tomorrow. I know there's a lot of games underway already. I apologize about that. So we just won't give the MAT. We'll give out 1 o'clock and later, but I know the Iowa Vandy game, but that's a different, you know. So, yesterday's results. Princeton over Vermont, 75-69 in overtime. Incarnate Word over Southeast Louisiana, 79-70. Ohio over Central Michigan, 80-64. Wyoming over Air Force, 68-56. Northwestern over Howard, 80-60. South Carolina over Albany, 96-67. East Tennessee State over the Citadel, 74-49. Toledo over Western Michigan, 84-79. Number 12, North Carolina over Florida State, 79-66. Duquesne over Davidson, 89-83 in double OT. Temple over Charlotte, 76-73. Seton Hall over Marquette, 79-73. Wisconsin over Milwaukee, 80-60. Miami over Pitt, 76-69. Miami of Ohio over Bowling Green, 93-83. Number 19, Tennessee over SC State, 105-54. Arkansas State over Arkansas Tech, 107-63. Eastern Michigan over UMass, 80-74. Tennessee State over Tennessee Tech, 88-76. Number 13, Nebraska over New Hampshire, 86-55. Number 16, Louisville over Cal, 90-70. Nevada over Colorado State, 75-62. St. Mary's over Pepperdine, 72-45. Utah State over Fresno State, 72-63. Notre Dame over Stanford, 47-40. So Notre Dame won outright. Creighton over Butler, 89-85. Number 7, Gonzaga over San Diego, 99-93. Seattle over Washington State, 69-55. Santa Clara over Portland, 92-85. Oregon State over San Francisco, 70-62. Loyola Marymount over Pacific, 80-71. San Diego State over San Jose State, 81-68. And Boise State over New Mexico, 62-53. All right, I'll just touch on the lines that the games are underway. The games started at noon. Loyola Chicago, Rhode Island. I had Rhode Island 6.25. I'm trying to. Oh yeah, closed 9.5, 145.5. So I guess we'll pick these. Loyola Chicago covers that number. All right, next up is Tulane, East Carolina. My line is Tulane by 6, and Tulane closed 1.5, total 145.5 lay. Army Lehigh, I have Lehigh 4.25, and the line closed Lehigh 5.5, total 146.5. Under, because usually Patriot League's an under league. Wake NC State, I have NC State 6.75. NC State closed. Let's see. Why isn't the line showing? Doesn't tell me. I don't know what Wake closed at as a favorite just because the game's on ESPN2. That, look it up. Wake Forest, NC State basketball. Yeah, the closing lines showed me. Here we go. NC State 9.5, total 158.5. I'll take Wake the cover there. Mercer Furman. I project Furman 9.25. And it closed at Furman 2.5, total 154.5. I'll lay the points. Lamar, East Texas A&M. I have Lamar 2.75, and the closing line was not showing me here either. Oh, here we go. Lamar 5.5, total 143.5. I'll take East Texas A&M to cover. All right, 1 o'clock. UTSA, Florida Atlantic. Mine's Florida Atlantic by 4.5. And it is let's see. I clicked football by accident. All right, Florida Atlantic. 15.5, total 150.5. Oh, UTSA is covering that. That's way too high. Loyola, Maryland, and American. My line is American by 5.5. And it is 8.5 and 153.5. I'm going to take Loyola, Maryland to cover. All right, next up, BU Navy. My line is Navy 9.25, and it is 4.5, 137. I'll lay the point. Buffalo, Northern Illinois. My line's Buffalo 4.5. It's 5.5, 152.5. I'll take the over. Wofford, Western Carolina. I have Western 3.25 or 3 3/4, and it is Wofford 3.5, total 152.5. I'll take Western plus the points and plus 134 outright. South Alabama, Louisiana. I have South Alabama 11.25, and it's 4.5, 124.5. I'll lay the points. 2 o'clock ACC Network, number 21, Virginia, Virginia Tech. I have Virginia 3 3/4, and it is 5.5, 154.5. I'll take the under. St. Bonaventure, VCU. I have VCU 3.5, and it's 9.5, 156.5. I'll take St. Bonaventure to cover. George Mason, LaSalle. My line's LaSalle as a 13.25 dog. It's 8.5, 136.5. I'll lay with George Mason. Fordham, Dayton. My line is Dayton 14. It's 15.5, 137.5. I'll go over. ESPNU, Rice, Tulsa. I have Tulsa 15.5. It's 12.5, 152.5. I'll lay the points. Bucknell, Holy Cross. My line's Holy Cross 1 3/4. And it is 2.5 in favor of Bucknell. Total 134.5. I'll take Holy Cross plus the points and plus 120 to win. Radford, USC, Upstate. My line's Radford 3/4. It's Upstate 1.5. Total 158.5. I'll take Radford plus 1.5 and plus 106. High Point, UNC, Asheville. My line is High Point 5.25. It's 11.5, 153.5. I'll take Asheville in the points. Charleston Southern, Gardner Webb. I have Charleston Southern 9.5. It's 12.5 and 163.5. I'll take Gardner Webb the cover. ESPN2, Clemson, Syracuse. I have Syracuse 1.25. It's Clemson 1.5. Total 141.5. I'll take Syracuse plus the 1.5 and minus 102 to win. NJIT Penn. My line is Penn 8.5. And it's 14.5 and 150.5. I'll take NJIT the cover. Charleston, Elon. My line is Charleston 2.25. And it is 12.5 and 163.5. And I'll take the under. That's too high. Campbell, Monmouth. My line is Monmouth 5 3/4, and it is 1.5, 152.5. I'll lay it with Monmouth. Stony Brook and William and Mary. Mine's William and Mary 17 3/4 on CBS Sports Network, and it is 10.5 and 156.5 LA with William and Mary. Texas State, Troy. I have Troy by 3/4. And it's 8.5 and 143.5. I'll take Texas State the cover. App State, Old Dominion. My line is Old Dominion by 8. And it's 1.5, 136.5 LA with Old Dominion. 230 Towson, Hampton. I have Towson by 3/4. And it's 5.5, 137.5. I'll take Hampton in the points. Colgate, Lafayette at 3 o'clock. Mine's Colgate by 8.25. It's 6.5, 147.5. I'll take the over. Winthrop, Longwood. My line is Longwood by 3/4. And it's Winthrop 8.5 total 162.5. I'll take Longwood plus 8.5 and plus 310 to win. That's your upset. Northeastern NCAT. I have Northeastern 2.25. 2.5, 154.5. I'll take the over. 4 o'clock, Georgia Tech, number 6, Duke. I have Duke by 13.75, and it is 27.5 and 153.5. I'll take Tech in the points. St. Joe's, St. Louis. I have St. Louis by 9. 20.5 and 160.5. I'll take the points. George Washington, Richmond. My line's Richmond 2.75 underdog. It's 3.5, 162.5 under. 4 o'clock, ESPN 2, North Texas, Memphis. I have Memphis 7.5. And it is 9.5, 135.5. I'll take North Texas in the points gladly. ESPN U, Wichita State, UAB. I have UAB by a quarter. It's 2.5 and 149.5. I'll take Wichita to cover 2.5. Maybe they win outright. KC, Denver. Mine's Denver 12.25. 10.5, 156.5. I'll go over. Georgia State, Marshall. My line is Marshall 16.75. 12.5 and 152.5. I'll lay it. Stephen F. Austin, Northwestern State at 4:30. My line is Stephen F. Austin by 4.75. And it's 8.5 and 140.5. I'll lay it with Stephen F. Austin. New Orleans, A&M, Corpus Christi. I have Corpus Christi 7.5. It's 4.5, 142.5. I'll lay it with Corpus Christi. Number 4, UConn, Xavier 5 on Peacock. My line is UConn 8.75. And it's 12.5, 144.5. I'll take Xavier in the points. South Dakota, North Dakota State. I have North Dakota State 9.5. It's 10.5, 162.5. I'll take the under. Nichols, Texas, Rio Grande Valley at 5:30. Mine's Grand Valley by 10.5. It's 3.5, 145.5. I'll lay the points. 6 o'clock, Fox Sports 1, DePaul, Villanova. I have Villanova 8.75. 12.5, 137.5. I'll take the ball to cover. 7 o'clock, Drexel, UNC, Wilmington. I have Wilmington by 22. 12.5, 138.5. I'll lay it with Wilmington. And 8 o'clock on Fox Sports 1, St. John's, Georgetown. I have St. John's by 3/4, and it's 8.5, 153.5. I'll take Georgetown to cover that. That's too big. St. John's is getting preseason reputation still. They have been disappointing this year, or this season. And then tomorrow, New Year's Day, doesn't look like there's a lot of action tomorrow. 1 o'clock, Oakland, Youngstown State, Stanford, VMI, Georgia Southern Coastal, Stetson, North Alabama. 2 o'clock, Oral Roberts, North Dakota. Oh, it is more than I thought. Iowa, Indy, Northern Kentucky, Milwaukee, Wright State, Green Bay, Purdue, Fort Wayne, Jacksonville, Lipscomb, Florida, Gulf Coast, Central Arkansas, Valpo, Southern Illinois, 3. Evansville, Illinois State, Cal Baptist, Texas, Arlington. 4 o'clock, Chattanooga, Greensboro. 4 o'clock, Portland State, Weber State. 4:30, Western Illinois, Texas, Martin. Southern Indiana, SIU, Edwardsville. Moore State, Lindenwood. 5 o'clock, Cal State, Northridge, UC Davis. UC Irvine, Bakersfield. Southern Mississippi, Monroe. Tennessee Tech, Little Rock. 5:15, Omaha, South Dakota State. 6 o'clock, Northern Arizona, Montana. 7 o'clock, Bradley, Belmont. Eastern Kentucky, Queens. Bellarmine, Western Georgia. 8 o'clock, Indiana State, Northern Iowa. Hawaii, UC Riverside. North Florida, Austin P. Utah Valley, Tarleton State. Utah Tech, Abilene Christian. 8:30, Eastern Illinois, South Base, Missouri. 9 o'clock, Murray State, UIC. Northern Colorado, Montana State. Sacramento State, Idaho State. 10 o'clock, Santa Barbara, Fullerton. And UC San Diego against Cal Poly. Okay, now move on to the NBA. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to tonight and tomorrow. Last night, Sixers over the Grizzlies, 139-136 in overtime. That was a fun game. Celtics over the Jazz, 129-119. Pistons over the Lakers, 128-106. And the Clippers over the Kings, 131-90. Okay, tonight's games. 1 o'clock, NBA TV, Warriors, Hornets. My line is Golden State, 4.75. I did not do totals today. Sorry, guys. And it is 7 and 234.5. I'll take the Hornets plus the points. The Warriors aren't that good. 3 o'clock, T-Wolves, Hawks. I have the T-Wolves 2.5. It's 5 and 243.5. I'll take Atlanta to cover. Magic, Pacers. My line is Orlando by 7.5. Just hang on bear with me 1 second, guys. Because I missed this game and I did... yeah, so... it's just Franz Wagner that's out. So I have the Magic by 3.5 at Indiana. And it is 4 and 2/3 or 225.5. I'll take the over. NBA TV, Suns, Cavs. My line's the Cavs 12.25. 6.5 and 235.5. I'll lay with Cleveland. I think that's a good value spot for them against an overrated Suns team. 7 o'clock. Pelicans, Bulls. Pick 'em. I have pick 'em. It's 1.5, 248.5 under. Knicks, Spurs. NBA TV game of the night. My line is the Spurs 1 3/4, and it is 2.5, 235.5. I'll take the over. Spurs are the rightful favorite here. No Josh Hart for the Knicks. And plus, it's in San Antonio. Nuggets, Raptors, 7:30 minus Toronto, 12 3/4. It's 6.5, 229.5. I'll lay it with Toronto with everybody injured on Denver. Wizards, Bucks at 8. My line is the Bucks 14.5. It's 10.5, 233.5. I'll lay it. And last but not least, Blazers, Thunder, Ryan Thunder, 12.25 or 22.25. It's 15.5 and 232.5. I'll lay it with Oklahoma City. All right, then tomorrow, 6 o'clock, Rockets, Nets, 7 o'clock, Heat, Pistons, 8:30 NBA TV. This is probably the best game on the board tomorrow. Sixers, Mavs, 10 o'clock, Celtics, Kings, and then 10:30, Jazz, Clippers. All right, now move on to hockey. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to tonight and tomorrow. All right, so yesterday, Leafs over the Devils 4-0, Habs over the Panthers 3-2 OT, Pens over the Canes 5-1, Isles over the Blackhawks 3-2 shootout, and the Flyers over the Canucks 6-3. All right, going on right now is Rangers Capitals. Started at 12:30. The Caps were minus 140. The Rangers were plus 110. Over under was 5.5. Over is minus 122. And the under is plus money. This feels like a game the Rangers win. They lost their last couple. I know it's Jonathan Quick, but I feel like they play better when he's in net, like in front of him. So I'm going to take the Rangers at the plus money. 3 o'clock, Preds, Golden Knights. 4 o'clock, Lightning, Ducks. Oh, wait. What am I doing? I'm supposed to be picking these games. So, Preds, Knights. Vegas minus 188. Preds plus 155. Over under 6.5. Overs plus 114. Unders minus 140. Preds plus 1.5 is minus 170. Golden Knights minus 1.5 plus 138. I'm laying it with Vegas. 4 o'clock, Lightning, Ducks. Lightning minus 162, Ducks plus 134, over under 6.5, overs minus 114, unders minus 106. Lightning minus 1.5 plus 144, Ducks plus 1.5 is minus 178. Over. Wild, Sharks. Wild minus 178, Sharks plus 146, over under 6.5, overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Wild minus 1.5 plus 138, Sharks plus 1.5 is minus 170. Over. Don't feel good about it though. 6:30, Jets, Red Wings. Pick a minus 110 each way, over under 5.5, overs minus 130, unders plus 106. Jets plus 1.5 is minus 280, Red Wings minus 1.5 plus 220. I'm going to take the Jets with Hellebuck back. 7 o'clock, Devils, Blue Jackets. Jackets minus 122, Devils plus 102, over under 6.5, overs plus 114, unders minus 140. Devils plus 1.5 is minus 50, Jackets minus 1.5 plus 198. We go with the over. 8 o'clock, Sabres, Stars. Stars minus 60, Sabres plus 132, over under 6.5, overs plus 104, unders minus 128. Sabres plus 1.5 is minus 188, Stars minus 1.5 plus 152. I don't love it, but I'm going with the over. 9 o'clock, Blues, Avalanche. Avs minus 350, Blues plus 275, over under 6.5, overs plus 112, unders minus 138. Blues plus 1.5 is plus 110, Avs minus 1.5 minus 134. I'm going to go with the over at plus money. 9:30 Flyers, Flames. Flames minus 142. Flames minus 142. Flyers plus 118. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 120. Unders minus 102. Flyers plus 1.5 is minus 215. Flames minus 1.5 is plus or minus 172. I like the under at minus 102. And last but not least, Bruins Oilers. Oilers minus 205. Bruins plus 168. Over under 6.5. Overs even money. Unders minus 122. Bruins plus 1.5 is minus 144. Oilers minus 1.5 plus 118. I like the over at even money. And then tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Caps Senators. 3 o'clock, NHL Network, Mammoth Islanders. 7 o'clock, NHL Network, Jets Leafs. Red Wings, Penguins. Habs, Canes. Lightning, Kings. 8:30, Stars, Blackhawks. And 10 o'clock, Preds, Kraken. All right, now move on to soccer. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to today and tomorrow, of course. Not going to do picks for soccer because we don't have time. EPL, Newcastle over Burnley 3-1. Chelsea, AFC Bournemouth 2-2 draw. Everton over Nottingham 2-0. West Ham, Brighton and Hove 2-2 draw. Arsenal over Aston Villa 4-1. Man United, Wolverhampton 1-1 draw. Cup of Nations, Tanzania, Tunisia 1-1 draw. Nigeria over Uganda 3-1. Senegal over Benin 3-0. And Congo DR over Botswana 3-0. The Pro League, Al Ahly over Al Fayha 2-0. Al Ettifaq, Al Nasser 2-2 draw. Damak over Akhdod 1-0. Premiership, Dundee over Kilmarnock 2-1. Hibernian over Aberdeen 2-0. Dundee United over Livingston 3-1. Rangers over St. Mirren 2-1. Motherwell over Celtic 2-0. And then today, Cup of Nations going on now. Equatorial Guinea and Algeria. Sudan, Burkina Faso. 2 o'clock, Gabon, Ivory Coast. And Mozambique, Cameroon. The Pro League, final, Al Ittihad over Niam FC 3-1 going on. Al Khalid, Al Halal, and Al Shabab, and Al Kidiash. And that's it. And then tomorrow, yeah, it's busy tomorrow. Premier League, 12:30, Peacock, Crystal Palace, Fulham. USA Network, Liverpool, Leeds, 3 o'clock. On Peacock, Brentford, Tottenham. And in USA, Sunderland, Man City. ELC, 7:30. Blackburn, Wrexham, 10 o'clock, Bristol City, Portsmouth, Charlton Athletic, Coventry City, Derby County, Middlesbrough, Hull City, Stoke City, Ipswich Town, Oxford United, Preston, Northland, Sheffield Wednesday, Queen's Park, Norwich City, Southampton, Millwall, Swansea City, West Brom, CBS Sports Network, Watford, Birmingham City, and 12:30, Sheffield United, and Leicester City. And that's it for soccer. Now move on to On This Day. I hope On This Day's ready. On Instagram, it's brought to you by All Sports News. No, it's not. I wonder what they have, and then I guess we'll do tomorrow. So this will not be included in the credits. All right. So 2026 is going to be a fun year in sports. We're going to do what I can't wait to bet for the other two sports. On another show. So a couple of quick predictions. For next year. Let's do 3 for sports. So NFL. There will be over 5 coaching changes in this coaching cycle. Giants, Browns, Bucks, maybe the Dolphins, the Raiders, the Cardinals. But yeah, that's a good amount. And maybe there could be a surprise or two. Also, I'm going to predict that the Los Angeles Rams will be your Super Bowl 60 champions. Do I feel good about it? No, it's just a prediction right now. A lot can change with injuries and such. But that's just as of now. And then another NFL prediction, I'm going to say that the quarterback cycle is going to be hot and heavy as ever. And there's going to be a lot of big-name quarterbacks cut from their respective teams, notably in Miami and in Arizona. And who knows in Minnesota, J.J. McCarthy, and we'll see what happens there. All right, baseball. I'm going to predict that David Stearns and Mendoza will both be fired at the end of the season. Carlos Mendoza will both be fired at the end of the season after the team did nothing to improve their roster, letting go of Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz and trading Brandon Nimmo for an overrated player and Marcus Semien. List goes on and on and on. Another prediction is that Kyle Tucker will sign with the team that nobody expects. And that could even be the Mets. It could be the Yankees. I think people would expect the Dodgers. I don't think anybody would expect the Yankees because I think people will say like, oh, they'll pick Cody Bellinger over him because Bellinger was a good fit. Maybe, I know the Blue Jays are interested. Maybe it's the Red Sox, who knows? But somebody they completely unexpected that's not rumored will sign Kyle Tucker. And another one is that the Dodgers will not three-peat as World Series champions. Yes, they're the best team in sports. They've been the best team in all sports for a while. I know the Chiefs might have something to say about that, but they were close to losing that Super Bowl to the Niners. And they were close to losing that Super Bowl against the Eagles, the first Eagles Super Bowl. So the Dodgers, to me, have been the best team in sports. But then you could say, well, they almost lost that World Series to the Blue Jays. And, you could make a case the Thunder are the best team in sports. But you could say to them, well, if Tyrese Halliburton didn't tear his Achilles in Game 7, they lose that game. And Indiana wins. And, the Dodgers, if Aaron Judge doesn't misplay the ball in center field and if Freddie Freeman doesn't hit the grand slam, maybe the Yankees win that series. You could go a lot of which ways, but because of Ohtani, the Dodgers are the best team in sports. And I don't think they'll be a three-peat. Maybe whoever signs Tucker wins it or someone else in the National League, maybe Philly or whatever. But as of right now, I don't think they'll three-peat. And I think that's a pretty bold prediction. NBA, speaking of repeats, the Oklahoma City Thunder will not repeat as NBA champions. They're easily the best team in the NBA right now. The Western Conference is a lot harder. And I think there's a chance they lose in the Western Conference Final. Another prediction for the NBA is that Giannis Antetokounmpo will finally be traded, but it'll happen in the summer. And he will not go to his reported destination, the New York Knicks. He will go to somewhere that has more draft capital. I'm going to say the Atlanta Hawks are the team that acquires Giannis. They have a lot of pieces, and I think they want to be good in a weak East. And an East that's going to be better next year with the return of Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton. And then I'm going to predict that the Philadelphia 76ers finally get rid of Joel Embiid and Paul George. I think the Sixers really want this to happen. And maybe that's a summer thing, but I don't think either of them will be Philadelphia 76ers by the time we're doing this podcast next year. Hockey, I'm going to predict that this is a harder one to predict. I'm going to say that the team that gets the number one pick in the 2026 draft will be the Vancouver Canucks. They trade Quinn Hughes. And then they win the McKenna Bowl. Gavin McKenna. So your Gavin McKenna Bowl winner will be the Vancouver Canucks. He's supposed to be the next big thing. I'm going to say that the Metro Division will be the closest playoff in a long time. We see it bunched together right now. I think it'll continue to be bunched together. And then Another hockey prediction is that the New York Rangers will trade Artemi Panarin at the trade deadline, and maybe the team that gets him, maybe I can see it being Vegas. They're always like the spoiled rich team that always goes out and makes a big move. I can see it being Vegas. I can see it being Dallas. I think he gets traded to the Western Conference. I'll put it that way. I can see it being the Kings, who are not bad. There's a couple teams I could see fits for Artemi Panarin, but I'm going to say the Rangers trade Panarin, but they get a lot back for him to the point where they're still competing for a playoff spot in the East. Soccer. I think that it's gonna be an interesting year in soccer. I think that the MLS will be more interesting now that Messi's won. I don't think Miami will repeat, though. There's a lot of good teams in the league, let alone the Eastern Conference, so I'm going to say Miami does not repeat. I'm going to say that the FIFA World Cup is a massive success in this area. And I think that the U.S. men's national team will go on a nice little run to get people excited. NASCAR, this is a little unfortunate, but I do think they're going to honor Greg Biffle at the Daytona 500. You know that's going to happen. And I'm going to say that Kyle Larson wins the NASCAR Cup Series championship for 2026. College football. I'm going to say if Alabama does not win the national championship this year, Caleb DeBoer will be out as Alabama coach. And maybe Nick comes out of retirement. I do think there's going to be somebody that comes out of retirement. I don't know if it's going to be a coach or a player like Phil Rivers, but there is going to be somebody that comes out of retirement. I just don't know who. It won't be Tom Brady. I don't think it'll be Phil again. But I do think there's going to be somebody that comes out of retirement that gets people excited. Maybe I can see it being Saban. Maybe Jay Wright in college basketball, but there's going to be somebody that comes out of retirement. I don't know what sport it's going to be. And college basketball, speaking of Jay Wright, I'm going to say the Memphis Tigers fired Penny Hardaway. That team's a fucking joke. So I'm going to say that Penny Hardaway gets fired as the Memphis Tigers head coach. He's just been a failure there, and I think that they should move on. So that's my prediction for college basketball. And I do think we'll see another team move conferences. Maybe Notre Dame finally is in a conference. Maybe West Virginia moves. Maybe, I don't know, Nebraska. I'm just throwing names out there that I could see moving. TCU. But yeah, there's a couple I could see it kind of teams that could move conferences. So that should be fun, and I do think that the new Pac-12 is going to be a hit in college basketball as well. All right, so there's some predictions in sports for 2026. Now move on to the news and notes for today. I'm going to rapid fire this, guys. Trey Diggs thanks the Cowboys after his release. I'm still convinced that it may have had to do with his brother, and there was more to it because that came like why would they do that on the same day? Darnell Washington out for the year after he broke his arm. That's a big loss for the Steelers offense. The Hawks won't move Ricochet for AD as the Hawks continue to have optimism about Ricochet. And they are also more open to a trade as Young's market makes an off-season deal more likely. Karl Anthony Towns and Mike Brown in a good place after the relationship has progressed throughout the season after some friction early on. So Mike McDaniel linked to the Browns as he'd be a candidate for the Browns job if both teams make changes. Huh. And then it was reported this morning is that there's conflicting information regarding McDaniel's future. I think he's gone. Stephen Ross is a dysfunctional owner that's a reactionary owner. It's kind of like John Mara in that regard, and how Jim Irsay was like that as well with the Colts. And then it was reported that the Browns are eyeing coaching changes. Stefanski may be fired in the offseason as Cleveland completely preliminary research for a potential move. Mbappe's out for 3 weeks with a knee injury and will miss the Super Cup semifinal. That is not good for Madrid. So the White Sox are signing Jared Kalinick to a 1-year deal. Mike Hazen talks about Ketel Marte's future at the team, as he says that trading him is not likely to happen as offseason unfolds. Josh Giddey out for a few weeks with a hamstring strain. Rui Hachimura out for a week with right calf soreness. Joel Embiid played against the Grizzlies last night after he was out with the ankle and knee injuries. Lane Kiffin may attend the Sugar Bowl as he's considering visiting New Orleans to watch his old team. That would be cool. And there you have it for the news and notes. Best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. I am going to go to the NBA. And I'm going to lay 6.5 at the Raptors against Denver. No Jokic. And Jokic is worth 9 points to my projected spread. And there's also no, what's his name either? Aaron Gordon. No Cam Johnson. So I absolutely love Toronto. Minus the 6.5 points against the Nuggets for my best bet of the day. So there you have it. I'll be back Friday with the show, and we'll do Fab 5 too. Hope you guys have a happy, happy New Year, everybody.